A lion once cornered a honey badger in the African bush. 230 pounds of pure muscle, claws like daggers, a bite that could crush bone like dry wood. And you know what that honey badger did? It turned around, looked the lion dead in the eye, and attacked first. Not ran, not hid. Attacked. And here's the wild part. The lion backed off. A full-grown lion backed off from an animal the size of a house cat. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why that happened, what makes the honey badger one of the most jaw-dropping creatures on this planet, and whether in a real no-holds-barred showdown, the lion actually wins this fight. Because the answer is not what you think. Let's start with the basics because the size difference alone is almost funny. A male lion weighs between 150 and 250 kilograms. A honey badger? Get 10 to 16 kilograms on a good day. We're talking about an animal nearly 15 times heavier going up against something you could fit in a large backpack. And yet, the honey badger doesn't just survive these encounters, it turns them into a statement. But here's what most people get wrong. They think this is just attitude, just aggression. It's not. It's biology. And once you understand what this little animal is carrying around in that compact, fury-filled body, you'll never look at size the same way again. Now let's talk about where these two actually live, because this matters more than people realize. The lion roams across roughly 1.1 million square kilometers of African grassland and savanna. Big, open country king. But here's a stat that stopped me cold. Lions have lost about 96% of their historic range. 96%. Let that land for a second. The animal we call the king of the jungle is now living in protected pockets, national parks, and reserves, dependent on humanity keeping the doors open. The honey badger? It's out here thriving across deserts, forests, savannas, scrublands, you name it. It needs almost no water because it pulls moisture straight from its prey. It has a home range of up to 541 square kilometers, roaming farther than the lion, solo, no pride, no backup. One of these animals needs protection to survive. The other one is the protection. And that 96% number? Remember it because it comes back later in a way that changes this whole conversation. Now here's where it gets genuinely wild, and stay with me because this is the part that made me stop and reread my own research notes. The real reason lions struggle with this animal isn't the teeth, it isn't the claws, it isn't even the attitude, it's the skin. Most animals have skin that works like, well, skin. It protects, sure, but a lion's claws go through it without much trouble. The honey badger has something completely different. Its skin is several millimeters thick, and here's the key. It's loose, elastic, almost like a rubber suit hanging off its body. What does that mean in a real fight? Picture this. A lion lunges. Dust explodes off the ground. One massive paw slams down. Jaws close over the honey badger's back. That should be the end, but it isn't. Because inside that loose skin, the honey badger twists, literally rotates inside its own body, whips its head around, and suddenly the lion isn't holding prey anymore. It's wearing a set of teeth on its face. And the lion is gripping skin, the honey badger is biting the lion's nose. That's not a movie scene. That is a real, documented defense mechanism. And it makes the honey badger one of the hardest animals on Earth to pin down once a fight starts. Remember this, because when we get to the final showdown breakdown, this skin is going to matter more than you think right now. Now, if you're thinking, okay, but a lion could still just end this with that bite force? Yeah, absolutely on paper. A lion bites at around 650 pounds per square inch. That's enough force to crush the thick bones of a full-grown zebra. More pressure than most industrial clamps. A devastating fight-ending weapon when it connects cleanly. But connecting cleanly against a twisting, wriggling, loose-skinned animal that is actively trying to bite you back while you're holding it? That's a completely different equation. Now here's something that genuinely sounds like a superhero origin story, and I promise you, this is real. But before I tell you what it is, let me set this up properly. A black mamba can kill a full-grown human in under 60 minutes. Its venom attacks the nervous system, shuts down breathing, and drops you where you stand. Most animals in Africa give the black mamba a very wide distance. The honey badger? It eats them for lunch. Literally, the honey badger has remarkably high venom tolerance, possibly the highest of any mammal on Earth. It gets bitten by a cobra or a mamba, goes down for a short while, wakes up, shakes it off, and goes right back to eating the snake that bit it. This comes from a mutation in a gene called CHRNA1, which changed how neurotoxins interact with the honey badger's nervous system. Evolution handed this animal a biological cheat code over millions of years of living alongside the deadliest snakes on the planet. And the lion? Zero venom tolerance. None. A cobra that a honey badger would happily snack on could seriously threaten a full-grown lion. So let me get this straight. An animal the size of a house cat can survive something that could threaten the king of the jungle. That's not attitude. That's millions of years of evolution saying, you will not die easily. All right, let's talk brains. Because both of these animals are smarter than most people realize, just in completely different ways. The lion is a social genius. Living in a pride of up to 40 individuals means lions have evolved incredible ability to communicate, coordinate, and hunt together. Their group hunt success rate climbs to 30 to 50%, which in the wild is genuinely impressive. And lions can recognize individual rivals even after more than 2 years apart. The honey badger is a different kind of smart. It's a solo operator, an individual problem solver. Researchers have documented honey badgers using tools, sticks, and rocks to access food. Its brain-to-body ratio comes in at around 1.4, higher than a domestic dog, and it has spatial memory that lasts over 365 days across its massive territory. One of these animals is a master of reading the room. The other one doesn't need a room. Quick question, and I genuinely want to see your answer. If you had to face one of these animals in the wild, no escape, face to face, which one scares you more, the lion or the honey badger? Think about everything you've heard so far. The skin, the venom tolerance, the intelligence, the attitude. Drop your answer in the comments because I think more people than you'd expect are going to say the honey badger. And honestly, I'm not sure they're wrong. Now here's the part that doesn't get talked about enough, and it completely reframes this whole matchup. Remember that 96% number from earlier? Here's where it hits different. The lion is listed as vulnerable on the IUCN Red List. There are only about 20,000 to 25,000 left in the wild. 50 years ago, there were around 450,000. That is a massive collapse over just a few generations. Habitat loss, human conflict, illegal wildlife trade. Lions are hanging on largely because conservation organizations are fighting every single day to keep them there. The honey badger? Listed as least concern. Population estimated at 100,000 to 200,000. While lions are declining, honey badgers are adapting, moving into new territories, surviving in agricultural zones, and eating literally whatever they can find. The animal we call the king needs our help to survive. The animal the size of a backpack is handling it on its own, and there's a reason for that. A deep, ancient reason. The honey badger's earliest known fossil dates back 5.3 million years, and it was first found in Spain. These animals started in Europe, migrated to Africa, and kept evolving tougher defenses along the way. The venom tolerance, the thick skull, the loose elastic skin, none of that appeared overnight. It's millions of years of genetic pressure from living alongside the most dangerous creatures on Earth. Even the lion's lineage traces back about 3.5 million years in Africa. Same continent. Different strategy. One evolved to be the most powerful predator in the room. The other evolved to be almost impossible to kill. So now, the question everyone's been waiting for, what actually happens when these two meet? And this does happen in the wild. Real documented encounters. Here's the honest breakdown. The lion charges. Hundreds of pounds of explosive muscle closing distance in seconds. The honey badger doesn't run. It drops low, faces the threat, and makes itself small and tight. The lion swipes. Claws designed to tear through zebra hide rake across the badger's back. But that thick, loose skin absorbs the blow like armor. No deep wound, no crippling injury. The lion tries to bite down. Jaws close, a 650 pounds per square inch of pressure clamping onto the badger's body. And this is where most animals die. But the honey badger twists inside its own skin, rotates its entire body, gets its head free, and drives its teeth straight into the lion's face. The muzzle, the nose, the soft tissue around the eyes. Now the lion has a decision to make. Keep fighting and risk a torn nose, a damaged eye, an infection that could end its ability to hunt, or let go. In almost every documented case, the lion lets go, not because it can't win. In a sustained, committed fight, the lion takes this. That's just physics. 10 times the body weight, 80 kilometers per hour speed, crushing jaw power. If the lion commits fully and doesn't release, the lion wins. But here's what matters. Lions are wired to calculate risk. Every predator is, and a honey badger makes that calculation ugly. The cost of winning, the pain, the energy, the injury risk is almost never worth the reward of eating an animal that weighs 12 kilograms. A honey badger that makes a lion ask, "Is this worth it?" has already won something extraordinary. And that brings me to the one line that keeps running through my head every time I think about this matchup. The lion is stronger. The honey badger is harder to stop. And in the wild, that difference means everything. Power wins fights, but toughness survives worlds. The lion is one of the greatest animals that has ever walked this planet. Majestic, powerful, awe-inspiring, but it is increasingly fragile in a world that keeps shrinking around it. The honey badger just keeps moving forward. Tougher than it looks, smarter than you'd expect. Built by millions of years of evolution to simply refuse to quit. And that is why the honey badger matters. I'm Professor Lion. If you're not subscribed yet, now's the time. Hit that button because next time I'm putting the wolverine up against the hyena. And honestly, the result shocked even me. I'll see you there.